Recording in progress. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Gita Nagari. Hare Krishna. Nice to see you all in all different parts of the world. It's 7 o'clock in the morning here. It's, what's the temperature?
Cold.
It's cold, but maybe not as cold as in Europe. And I think we have a clear day today. And right now we're in the residence of the one and only Sarvatma Mahashoy and his good wife, Divyananda Mataji, who is presently in the temple dressing Shishi Radha. Oh, dressing Gornitai. Okay. So the plan is, Sarvatma is making adjustments here to our location. And the plan is that we're going to start out here. And when we get to the point of singing, then Sarvatma is going to play the piano. And so that'll be something different, something interesting. And then we're going to migrate next door to where I'm staying so that when Divyananda comes back home, she doesn't feel constrained by our presence. Yes, that's the plan. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Danati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So let us proceed to our song for the day, for the week. Srila Narottama Das Thakur ki jai. Whoops, where did it go? Oh, there it is. Today we have from Prarthana by Srila Narottama Das Thakur, the first song of a new section. It's called Punah Swabhista Lalasa, song number 1. Swabhista would mean one's own desire, and Punah means again. And Lalasa, as I understand, has the sense of longing. So as with most of his songs, he starts out Hari Hari. Hari Hari Kabe, mora Hoibe Sudina, Govardhana girivare, parama nibhr ghare, rāi-kānu, korābo, śayan. When in a secluded cottage in Govardhana Hill, the best of mountains, will I prepare a couch for Shri Radha and Krishna. O Lord Hari, when will that auspicious day be mine? So it's nice that he mentions Govardhana Hill, because we're preparing here at Gita Nagari. Lots of preparations are going on for Govardhana Puja on, as I understand, 2 days. Tomorrow's Sunday and also Monday. Why only 1 day? So it's going to be 2 days. And yes, moving to the next verse. Ńgārera, jale rāńgā, charana dhowāibo, muchāibo, āpan cikure. Oh, these are interesting words. Kanaka samputta kori, karpur tambula puri, dhowāibo, duhuka adhare. When will I take water from a jar, bring ghare jale, and wash the lotus feet of the divine couple, charana dhowāibo, dhowāibo. When will I then dry their feet using my own hair as a towel? Muchāibo, I guess, means to dry. I will dry. Āpan cikure. Āpan means my own, and cikure must mean hair. When from a golden box, that's samputta, kanaka samputta, will I take betel nuts and camphor and place on the lotus lips of the divine couple. Karpur tambula puri, puri dhowāibo duhuk adhare. So adhare means on the lips. I think technically it means the lower lip, but it seems to end up meaning both lips. And duhuka is one of the many words for both, I think. Priya sakigan shange shebana koribo range charana sebibo nija kore. Duhuk kamala diti kautuke herabo duhu anga pulaka ontare. When in the association of the gopis, Priya Saki Gan Shange, will I directly serve the lotus feet of the divine couple with my own hand? Sevan koribo range charana seibo nija kore. Kore, nija means own also, and kore here, I thought it would mean to do, but maybe it's hands. Sevana koribo, I will do seva. When, by seeing the lotus eyes of the divine couple, will the hairs of my body stand erect because of the ecstasy within my heart. Duhuk Kamala Diti. That's, to say that properly is difficult. It's dental D and then it's reflex T, DT. Now, what does it mean? I don't know. Let's see. Duhuk Kamala DT, the lotus, could mean eyes, I suppose. Driti. Kotuke herabo. Herabo means I will see. Kotuke. When will the hairs of my body stand on end? Anga pulaka antare. Pulaka is the hairs. Anga of the body. And number 4. Mallika malati juti nana pule mala ganti Kabe dibo donhar golai. When will I string garlands of Mallika and Malati flowers? Mallika Malati Juti. And place them on the necks of the divine couple. Ganti. Ganti means neck. Nana pule, different flowers. Mala means garland. Kabe, when. Dibo donhar golai. Whoops, mistake. Gola, golai, I guess, means the neck. Then, when will sonar kotara kori karpur chandana bhori Kabe dibo donha kar gai. When will I fill a golden goblet? A goblet. A goblet is a glass for drinking with camphor and sandalwood paste, and then anoint the transcendental forms of the divine couple with this mixture. Sonar is another word for gold. Kotara probably means a cup, and he's translating as goblet, which is kind of an old-fashioned word. Karpura means camphor. Chandan is chandan. Bhori means filled. Kabe dibo, when will I give donhakar gai? What is gai here? Anyway, the divine couple, donhakar. And the last verse, ar Kabe amon hobo, duhumukka nirakibo, lila rasha nikunja śayan. Shri kundalatar shange keli kotukarange narottam koribe shravane. When will I directly see the lotus faces of the divine couple? Duhumukha. When will Narottama Das jubilantly hear Kundalata Devi's narration, Kundalatar Shange Keli Kotukarange, narration of the nectarian pastimes, Keli, performed by the divine couple in the groves of Vrindavan. When will that day be, Kabe? So lots of anticipation and wondering when will that day be mine? Okay, now we go here and original sound for musicians on, and then back to here. Okay, are we ready? This time I'm gonna be the mridanga player. We have a very, very big mridanga here. Hit it. No, that's not it. Sarvatma happens to be a quite talented musician, and he's showing us one of his many styles.
Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest, yeah. All right. I think we have to do, for the first line, an alap. Hari, Hari, Hari. We're going to do it low. Hari, Hari. Kabe, mora, Hoibe, Sudina. Hari, Hari. Kabe, mora, Hoibe, Sudina. Govardhana girivare parama nibhr ghare. Govardhana girivare parama nibhr ghare. Rāi-kānu korābo śayan. Rāi-kānu korābo śayan. ńgārera jale rāńgā charana dhowāibo. ńgārera jale rāńgā charana dhowāibo. muchāibo āpan cikure. muchāibo āpan cikure. kanaka samputta kori karpura tambula puri. kanaka samputta kori karpura tambula puri. dhowāibo dukkha ādare. dhowāibo dukkha ādare. priya sakhi gana sange sevana korābo rāńgā. priya sakhi gana sange sevana korābo rāńgā. charana sevibo nija kore. charana sevibo nija kore. dukkha kamala diti kotuke herabo duhuka kamaladiti kotuke herabo duhu anga kulaka antare duhu anga kulaka antare malika malati juti nanapule malaganti malika malati juti nanapule malaganti Kabe dibo don harak golaya Kabe dibo golaya Shonara kotara kori Karpura chandana kori Shonara kotara kori Karpura chandana bori Kabe dibo bon hakara gaya Kabe dibo don hakar gaya Arakabe amon hoba Duhu mukha nirakibo Arakabe amon hoba Duha mukha nirakibo Lila rasa nikunja śayane Lila rasa nikunja śayane Shikundala tarsange Gele kotukarange Shikundala tarsange Gele keli kotukarange Narottama Hoibe shavane Narottama Hoibe shavane Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Sobai bolun Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Hari Bol Goda Hari Bol Tigor Hari Bol Goda Hari Bol Srila Narottama Das Thakura ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. I think we're ready to go on tour, Sarvatma and I. Little more practice, and then we'll get it. Yeah? What do you think?
Yeah, federal prisons, you know?
I don't know if you heard that. I said, we're ready to go on tour. And Sarvatma said, oh, you mean to the federal prisons? Are you fading away?
No.
Oh, you're just getting more.
We're
going to move now. Okay. Okay, so you can perhaps stop the recording for the next.
Oh, you don't have to stop. You can talk while you walk.
Talk and walk.
Yeah,
okay.
I know it's a difficult coordination thing.
Well, since we're moving, hold on.
I'll carry your bag.
Okay. And before we go, a quick darshan of their lordships, Sri Sri Radha Govinda, beautiful deities. Sri Sri Radha Govinda ki jai. Singade and Jagannath are there. Okay. Off we go. This is, we're doing traveling Sankirtan.
Yes, yeah. This in the spirit of Ramadan.
Yes. Some of you may not know that the deities, the temple deities here, Radha Damodar, were the traveling deities of the Radha Damodar traveling party. While we're here also, we can have a quick darshan of their lordships. Let's see. Yeah, like that. We have Giriraj and his friends. Staying here. So now some more set up. Okay, thank you. And before I continue, I'm going to disappear for 2 minutes. And meanwhile, Sarvatma can entertain you.
Just clapping. Hare Krishna, good to see you all. Good morning. How are you? I guess you're unmuted, so you can just respond by going like this or like this. Are you doing okay? All right. Yeah. Yeah, the average is good. I'm glad to see. This has been a blessing for all of us in Gita Nagari that Krishna Kshetra Swami has come for kind of a long time, almost 3 weeks. Stayed here, and we have enjoyed his kind association. He's a great Vaishnava and a perfect gentleman. Prabhupada, when asked what's the definition of a devotee, most of the time he said is a perfect gentleman, and that's what Krishna Kshetra Swami is a perfect gentleman. Fortunate to have his association. And in a moment, he's his vapu will reappear.
No.
Vapu.
Did you tell some jokes?
No jokes. No jokes.
No jokes.
No.
Just to cheer everyone up.
Well, I don't know if they will understand. They don't translate well into European humor, American humor.
That's true.
How many devotees does it take to screw on a light bulb?
How many devotees does it take?
I
give up.
It's not my service.
Oh, I see. It's not. Yeah. Oh no. All right. Again, welcome to all of you, because I know some of you have joined since we started. We just made a migration from one room to another. After some Narottama Das Thakura singing. Here's a verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which I think is nice for us to contemplate. I'll read the Sanskrit first because it's nice. Krishna Kirtana, this is Adi Lila, chapter 2, verse number 2. So it's near the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And it's a kind of invocation. Anyway, here we go. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Kala Pato Jani Brajita Sat Bhaktavali Hangsa Chakra Madhupa Shreni Viharaspadam Karnanandi Kaladvanir Vahatume Jihva Maru Prangane Shri Chaitanya Dayanidhe Tavalasal Lila Sudha Svarduni. I'll spare the word for word. Oh, my merciful Lord Chaitanya, may the nectarian Ganges waters of your transcendental activities flow on the surface of my desert-like tongue. Beautifying these waters are the lotus flowers of singing, dancing, and loud chanting of Krishna's holy name, which are the pleasure abodes of unalloyed devotees. These devotees are compared to swans, ducks, and bees. The river's flowing produces a melodious sound that gladdens the heart. So it's a kind of extended analogy expressing about the value of speaking about the Lord, describing the whole situation as a flowing river with so many wonderful flora and fauna, and this is the activity of the tongue, of speaking, of glorifying. And it's interesting, I think, that Krishnadas Kaviraj is writing this about his speaking. So he's writing a book, but he's considering it as a kind of speaking, as oral glorification. And of course, he's inviting us to take part in this. He's to enter into the Ganges waters, the Ganga of Krishna Lila, of Chaitanya Lila. So, yes, that's a kind of invocation, I thought. Yeah. What we sometimes do at this stage is ask if anyone has anything to show and tell. Did you have show and tell in school when you were a kid?
We couldn't afford it.
Couldn't afford it. There was nothing to show.
No, just dirt.
We had show and tell. When you know, kids could bring something to the school and
Which
show
verse,
it.
please?
Huh?
Somebody's asking which verse. So
Oh.
Adi 2:2.
Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 2, verse number 2. Yeah, maybe I should put the chat up here in case for when something comes. Oh. Okay.
Done.
It's done. Yeah. So where were we? Oh, yes, show and tell. Yeah, so I want to ask if anyone has anything. Generally, devotees are shy. So maybe that's what we can do. Maybe you can, Sarvatma, preach a little bit about how to not be shy on this program we hold more or less once a week.
Actually, there is
speak up.
There is a division in shyness. There is a devotee here is a Prabhupada disciple. His name is Bubrit, and he will lead bhajan or kirtan. He'll just play harmonium and sing. But if you ask him to speak, he will just break into pieces and start crying, and he can't do it.
Huh.
There is many years ago, a survey was done in America about what's the greatest fear in anybody's life.
Oh yeah,
like
that.
Maiming and accidents and claustrophobia and drowning and all these things. These are all secondary. The number one was public speaking.
Public speaking, yes, I remember.
So that is the most terrifying, the fear factor.
Yeah.
And so actually I had the opposite. When I was growing up, I knew, and my parents knew, that I had some musical talent, yet I would not sing. I was too shy to sing. But as far as speaking, nobody has been able to stop me since. I have no fear of saying anything to anybody. Yeah, no matter how large the audience may be, I have no fear whatsoever. And
everyone has fear of you.
Yeah, so that's a brand. That's the brand that I go by. Maybe there is fear because of saying something foolish or embarrassing and so on. But ultimately, we have to take it as, in this case, is our family. The devotees are our real family. And, eventually, there are no secrets. Eventually, everything will be known. So, and even if you say something a little childish or foolish or embarrassing, people are not going to judge you. And if they do, it's not going to last long. This is a temporary affair. So one should not be afraid of speaking.
One of the problems, though, for many, if not most, of the devotees here is that English is a second language or a third language, or it's not a language for them.
So, well, English is my fourth language, and I'm still talking.
Spanish?
First Spanish, then Portuguese, then Italian. No, then Italian, then Portuguese.
Okay.
Then English.
Speaking of Spanish, we have Katyayani with us from Galicia. She was also here 2 weeks ago. My apologies, by the way, for not being here last week. Something else came up. I had another online meeting I had to attend, but that happens. Okay, so your basic point is just don't be shy.
Yeah, even if if you can't, how do you say, formulate the question or the comment or the realization, it will take shape, and we'll figure it out. So there's no need to hide behind language barrier. Yeah, you can. I'm sure you have questions. I had questions for years. Couple of questions actually that I had a hard time formulating, and I didn't find good answers for. So I kept them locked up for many years, and they were kind of resolved at a certain point. So if one doesn't externalize and verbalize them, they may chew at you little bits at a time.
They can fester.
Yes, they can become an Vaishnava boil.
Martina.
Hare Krishna. So
Hare
when you say meine Ehrerbietung.
Erbietungen aus Berlin.
Yeah, Haribol. So no, I'm not shy. I'm also shy, but I try. I just had a question. Yesterday we read from the Krishna book, and this chapter where the gopis in Vrindavan go to the Yashoda and tell that Krishna and Balaram also steal the butter and the milk, and also something like that, make a lot of bad things. And I know that's the Lila, but today I asked me, when I am a social worker and I'm often works with children, and when I had some children, they will do this, what Krishna is doing, and Balaram steal the butter is not the bad, but they make, I don't know in English, they make pee-pee and so yes, and I say, how can I love a child who makes so bad things? And so the gopis tell the smiling is so nice, but in my mind it was okay. I know it's a Lila, but I could not find a good answer for me for this. I had a lot of ideas, but so now when I'm here and du bittest darum, dass jemand etwas sagt, dachte ich, okay, now this question was in my mind today.
Sehr gut, danke. I think part of the problem for us is we find it difficult to appreciate how charming Krishna is. He's simultaneously rascal number one, and he's totally and absolutely charming everyone. Because the sense we get is that nobody in Vrindavan can stop thinking of Krishna even for a moment. He's this incredibly just, he just takes everyone's consciousness, and everyone is grasped and held by Krishna, by his charms, and his charms just keep unfolding endlessly. And whenever he does something rascally, like stealing butter and peeing in the room and whatever, there was a poet, an Irish poet who did that, Dylan Thomas, you know. anyway, he was not so transcendental. But yeah, so it's also an excuse for the gopis when they're complaining to Mother Yashoda. It's kind of an excuse for them to talk about Krishna and to talk with Mother Yashoda. And of course, what happens is they come in a quasi-angry mood, and then the moment, and Krishna will be there with Yashoda, right? And he's looking so totally innocent, so utterly innocent and so sweet that they kind of, as they're complaining, they're kind of like, yeah, well, anyway, just forget it. So, but you're a social worker, which means you meet people with small children who are probably very disturbed children.
Nein, ob ich gestört bin von Kindern?
No.
Nein, ich habe es nicht.
Du triffst bestimmt Leute, dessen Kinder sehr gestört sind.
Alles klar. Okay, yeah, of course. I had a lot of connections with people with, and I'm also worked in a school, and there are a lot of children. Now I'm working with refugees, young men from 16 till 18 years old.
Oh.
And I love people, no problem, but sometimes they need some rules, and sometimes they need some guidance. And yes, but I thought a long time about this behavior from Krishna, and it's also a thinking about Krishna. I think it's also good to thinking about to him. Yes, and the children from my work, it's, yeah, you have to look what's the best for them, so that you can I don't know the English word. Unterstützen? Suppose them.
Support.
Yeah, so, genau. And but they have to go alone. They have to walk alone. So you can be there and can be a good idol, a good tell him and show him what it's good, but they have to do it by his own. Yes.
Yeah, that's the reality. You can give them the best that you have, and then they have to take it with them. And certainly they do take something with them, and it may or may not show immediately. It may be, it could be years later that something that you've given them, they take. It just occurs to me, is Brajduta Gopal, are you here? Not today. Brajduta Gopal is in Poland, and he works with young people who have social problems. So it might be interesting, you and he could connect and compare notes a little, something might come out from that.
Yeah.
He works with an NGO. You know what is an NGO? Non-governmental organization.
Yes.
Yeah. So Brajduta Gopal.
Okay, I will connect him.
He's probably busy today with sometimes he has to go for a weekend, and they do, I don't know, camps or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you, Martina. Okay. Anybody else have any news you want to share? Oh, wait. Yes, Rasadari.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I thought that there is a questions and answers session, so I wanted to ask a question, actually. First, I wanted to comment on that devotees are shy.
Yeah.
And maybe that there is nothing new in 1 week, in their life, so to show and tell. So that's one of the idea. Another thing is this expression which you read, unalloyed devotional service. We know where this comes from, unalloyed, but it's very strange when we translate this in a local language. Can we just translate as pure?
Yeah, I suppose you could. That's the sort of thing where I always think it would be nice to have, if not footnotes, endnotes, or translators' notes. It's very common, actually, in a translated work that I've seen, for example, translators' introduction, where they'll, because there will be certain words which they say they understand are very important, and which may be used many times by the author, by the original author. Then they'll give a little explanation. They'll say, here's the original, and it's a problem to translate. So this is what I've done. But, please understand that there's a nuance to the meaning, and like that.
And I have one technical question, a little bit. This is regarding the name of Lord Chaitanya. Is he Chaitanya or Chaitanya? Like Chaitanya or Chaitanya? Because in Croatian it's important, because sometimes, as we spoke on Govardhana retreat, the Sanskrit is, we read Sanskrit in, it's how to say, English transliteration, but in Croatian can be different a little bit. So what is your opinion on that?
It's neither, it's Choitanno.
Oh.
CHOYT.
But no one speaks like that.
Bengalis do. Bengalis do.
Bengalis do. Oh, okay. But in this one we say Chaitanya, isn't it? Usually in West.
Chaitanya, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've never heard anyone say Chaitanya. It's not that. I know you may be thinking, because we say in the Bengali Hoibe, it seems like a kind of separate syllable, but as far as I know, it's not in the Bengali. It's not a separate syllable. It's one syllable. I. So it's one in how to say, in Bengali script, lipi, it's one character. It's not two. So it's Chaitanya.
Okay. Thank you.
That's kept you awake at night.
Well, I'm writing also some things, and would like to write in how to say, not in Sanskrit or not in Bengali, but in Croatian.
Yeah.
Like Krishna is not, Karasana with dots, or something like that. But it's like like, you know, we write in local language. So when we come to Chaitanya, then it is, you know, is it Chai or Chai? You know, how to write. That's it.
Well, again, that's something you could put into a note. You could make it, in this case, not because you're writing the book. It's not a translator's note, but that would be the sort of thing you'd put into could put it into an introduction or a preface, or you can also make a pronunciation note.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's different ways to do things.
Thank you.
Russ, can I tell what you're writing? Or you want to tell? About your book about festivals and dates. You've been doing a lot of research.
Yeah.
You want to tell about that?
Well, the book is called Celebrating Krishna and His Devotees. And actually, basically, it is explaining Vaishnava calendars, but I expanded it in a way that I thought also that you know, maybe Srila Prabhupada should have more prominence in our life. In a sense, imagine that, you know, now it's very soon Christmas, that Christians know, you know, about whereabouts and of Lord Jesus Christ, so to say. So, I'm sorry, my nose is. And I studied his life all 12 years, wherever he went. And I mean, there is already the study is already done. But what I did, any important things he did, like installation of deities, or he came for the first time in some country, or some specific initiation. Like, for example, he gave first initiation on his birthday, day after Jamashtami. That was the first initiation in ISKCON, for example, and things like that. And then I made the Vaishnava calendar for that day, and where he was, you know, and it was challenging because sometimes there are these
50 TTs.
No, these Adhika masas, you know, which change everything a little bit here and there, you know, moving around. And also I had some other important things in the calendar, and I took some inspiration for a few festivals from Shivara Swami's books, which he thinks it should be done. It is, you know, it is really, how to say it is, I think it's part of our tradition, you know, that we have, you know, celebrate many festivals. Also, I put, you know, when different demons are killed, you know, it is in the Shastra, you know, this Titi on that day, on this Ekadashi or something like that. And also, as we spoke on the airport, still controversial about, you know, the days of the war of Kurukshetra. We have in Shastra only one date that the 15 days of the war was Ekadashi, and if we move back, we see that the war started actually on Trayodashi, not on Ekadashi. As we always think, you know, I also think when, you know, they're on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and you know, the war will now start on Ekadashi, but it seems it was not like that. I don't know. We'll have to see some research, maybe more. And what else? Yeah, basically that's it, more or less. and to put about every personality from either Chaitanya Lila or maybe here and there Krishna Lila, some little text, so that devotees have everything in one book, something like that. But this about Chaitanya is another book, which I didn't tell you till now. That is great.
Okay.
That is completely something else.
Okay.
So that will not be in English anyway, and it's just for the local thing, and yeah, and it's not going so quickly because we are just finishing the Govardhana book. 99% is finished. We have only 1% practically, and one little thing. And some other things. I want to finish that first and then have some time.
Oh, speaking of that, is it too late? I found one mistake in my presentation, what I wrote. Is it too late to fix that?
Book is already in the print.
Oh, okay.
Only cover is not in the print. Therefore, I said 99%. We have to Gopi Gita has to check some color, black color, and that's it. Anyway, the cover comes later because it's hardbound, but it's already in the print.
It's not a big mistake. It's just
there is always, as you see, there is always some little things one can find, unlimited actually. Some comma and this and that and some word and even when you mentioned this small mistake, I was a little bit shocked in a sense that even grammarly artificial intelligence couldn't recognize that this is mistake in a sentence in the how to say about it was rape or it was something like reap, something like that, ripe. Sometimes things happen like this. We cannot. What can we do?
Anyway. Yeah, it's just a computer. It's just a computer thing. It doesn't think.
yeah. For them it's okay word, but sometimes they think really, because these advanced options, they think this passive, you can change this word, maybe better at this another word. They're really good. How they didn't find this one, I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway.
But it's still not thinking.
You're still not thinking,
It may seem like it is, but it's not.
No, it's not. Yeah, they have some. Anyway, it's like that.
All right.
Thank you.
Haribol. Okay, anybody else? Anything before we... Esther, you want to say something? First, you have to unmute yourself. There.
I did right now. Okay, you can hear me. Hare Krishna. Also, the last time we were muted, so I will just share what I wanted last time. It was really nice. I invited Lakshmi and Ishodyan Prabhu to come here to my place. On the attic, I have like a space created just for sanghas, and I invited them all together with other devotees here from Punah and Altura, so they can share how they are doing this preaching for new people in Rijeka. So we can maybe use their example, do something similar to them. So it was really, really very nice. It was very nice experience. So I wanted to share this because it's maybe from my point of view, it is not so much that happens in Punah. So this was like extraordinary.
That was an understatement.
Yes, okay. And so to correct myself immediately, there is one nice thing that one devotee, Nitya Shuddha, came with idea of presenting Srila Prabhupada's books in a book festival, which takes place annually here in Punah in beginning of December. So she immediately said this information in our little Pula chat group, and so it was so nice that all the devotees immediately were so responsive that everybody just offered their amount of money to participate in a book size, which in a shelf size we can take for so we booked the biggest, the largest available bookshelf, and so Srimad Bhagavat sets can be sold, and Chaitanya Charitamrita sets, and so all the devotees from Pula, we are not so many, they participated, and this was also very nice. And the third thing, it just happened like 15 minutes ago. Just my neighbor knocked on my door, and she brought me some fruits from the tree, and I invited them once to my Sanga program. They were here, and once also when Narottama Prabhu was visiting Pula, when Gopal and Raja Velavati invited him, so he stayed also one day in temple, like giving a program, and I invited my neighbors there, and they were so moved. This my neighbors, and we are just only good friends, like I'm not a preacher at all. I'm just trying to be good neighbor, and then they told me at the end, please invite me again when this person comes, and so now it was just the Sangha, and then I said, she brought me the fruit, and I just said, please could you come over tomorrow? I will, if you don't have a car, I will bring you and your family. There's a Govardhana festival. And she said, all right. So this is small but from me. Okay, thank you for listening. And
Pula Yatra Ki Jai.
Jai.
Oh, it's nice. It's good that you're inviting people and having Sangha like that. I think that's how how the mission can expand. More, in some respects, more than having temples and so on. It's just inviting people to each other's homes and having kirtan and a bit of katha and prasadam.
The influence that devotees have cannot be really measured. It just permeates people's lives and hearts. You cannot tell what's going to happen out of even a simple exchange.
Yeah. And Sarvatma knows about home program. He invites people. How many did we have in our flat? One time you said 60?
Yeah, 60. And the place was large enough to have 12 dogs in it. That was it.
Yeah.
And we had 60 people. Yeah. They sat outside, they sat on the toilet, they sat everywhere.
They sat on the toilet.
Yeah, the lid was closed.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that is nice.
That must have been when Girivare Swami was there. Was that the occasion?
Could have been.
I remember one of the students who would come to these programs we're talking about Santa Barbara when I was there, and I was being a student.
In 1995, I think it was.
Yeah, 95. There was one student who used to come, I don't remember his name, but he was a surfer. And nice guy. And he would come, I think pretty much whenever there was a program. And I asked him one time, so what's the thing about surfing? What is it that inspires you? Because University of California, Santa Barbara is right next to the ocean. And a lot of students choose to go to University of California, Santa Barbara, because you can surf there. And a lot of these surfer students, even though they should be attending classes, they're out riding the waves. And some of them are so attached to surfing that they even surf at night. So I asked this fellow, so what is it about surfing? So he's been attending classes, so devotee hearing lectures and so on. Maybe even he was chanting some, I don't know. But when I asked this about what's with the surfing, he said, it's about surrendering to the waves. Surrender, he knew about the idea of surrender. And he said it's about you're surrendering to the waves. Yeah, so I thought, okay, but those waves, they're just going to make you wet. And Srila Prabhupada said once, you call them surfer, I call them sufferer. He's playing on the word surfer, sufferer. Someone who suffers. So they're thinking they're enjoying, but they're suffering. Anyway, that just came to mind. The point I wanted to make just now is that Sarvatma, he'll invite people just because he's a very expert cook, he'll make a very nice meal, they'll have dinner, and then they'll just have a friendly time together. And there'll be some sort of Krishna Katha. Everything tastefully done. He says, that's his only comment. Hare Krishna, shall we read some Bhagavatam together? I propose that we read, starting with the beginning of chapter 24 of Canto 10. This is the beginning of Govardhana Lila. This is the beginning of Krishna making more trouble as a child. You want to read the verse, the first verse? Yeah.
Shri Sukha Uvacha Bhagavana Pitatraiva Baladevena Samyuta Apasyan Nivasangupan Indrayaga Kritudyaman. Sukadeva Goswami said, while staying in that very place where his brother Baladev, Lord Krishna happened to see the coward man peacefully arranging for a sacrifice to Indra, purported by Srila Prabhupada. According to Srila Sridhar Swami and other acharyas, the word tatra eva in this verse indicate that Lord Krishna stayed in the village of the Brahmins whose wives had satisfied him by their devotion. Thus he gave his mercy to those Brahmins as well as to their chaste wives, who had no one to associate with except their husbands. In that place, the coward man, headed by Lord Krishna's father, Nanda Maharaj, were somehow or other preparing an elaborate sacrifice to Lord Indra, and Lord Krishna reacted as follows.
I think the purport is not Prabhupada. I think it's Hridayananda.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, Prabhupada's servants.
Yes.
Parampara.
Okay, so this verse is setting the scene. And we can just proceed. I think I'll just read the translation. Being the omniscient supersoul, the Supreme Lord Krishna already understood the situation. Yet he still humbly inquired from the elders headed by his father, Nanda Maharaj. So one thought I had is that the Bhagavatam is very much about questions and answers. Generally, it's questions by sages or by kings, two sages. or sages to sages. And in this case, there's a kind of interesting twist. So there's a little bit of irony here that it's the Supreme Lord himself. And we understand he is one of what is an important quality of God in classical theology, that he is omniscient. Omniscient means what? It means one who knows everything. Omni is all-inclusive and like consciousness. So being conscious of everything. And so here's the Lord acting as a small child who is ignorant and who is curious what's going on. Daddy, we can imagine the scene. Daddy, what are you doing? And the purport says, Lord Krishna was eager to enact his pastime of lifting Govardhana hill and defeating the false pride of Indra. And thus he cleverly inquired from his father about the imminent sacrifice. So Krishna is being clever. Why is he being clever? Because he is eager to perform a pastime. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows exactly how Indra is going to respond. He knows the whole scenario. One could ask, if Krishna knows everything, then wouldn't that mean that life becomes quite boring? Do you ever reply to that?
No, because you have an unlimited imagination as well, so nothing gets stale. Plus, the same thing, just like chanting kirtan, you chant the same mantra over and over, and sometimes the same melody over and over, and it doesn't. If it is a material thing, yes, it will be boring, but having a spiritual quality, it gets fresher and fresher. The opposite of a material world.
Yes. Yat avadi mama cheta Krishna padaralinde nava nava rasa damadyutam tamrantumasit. Nava nava rasa. It gets ever fresher.
That's Yamunacharya?
I think it's King Kulashekara.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice point. There's not the problem. What is the problem of boredom? It's, here we go again, the same thing again.
Repetition without substance.
Repetition without substance, yeah. So nava nava rasa, it's ever fresh. But someone could ask, why is it ever fresh if it's the same? Sameness implies boredom. You gave the example of Hare Krishna chanting, and it's true. I think we all have experience. We can go on chanting, but we may also have experience of feeling some boredom chanting.
Then our chanting is material. It's like reading a verse from the Gita or the Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you're reading it correctly, it will derive a fresh meaning every time you read it. And if you read it incorrectly, it will bore you after reading it once.
After only once.
Once, that's it.
Yeah. Okay, then continuing, this is verse number 3. Lord Krishna said, my dear father, here let's read the Sanskrit because it's Krishna speaking. Kat Tyatam me pita koyam sambrahmo va upagata king palang kasya bodesha kena va sadyate maka. It's hard to read because it's so small.
Can you make it bigger?
Not in this program. Okay, translation. Lord Krishna said, my dear father, kindly explain to me what this great endeavor of yours is all about. What is it meant to accomplish? If this is a ritual sacrifice, then for whose satisfaction is it intended, and by what means is it going to be executed? Mind you, this is being asked by a 7-year-old boy. Have you ever heard a 7-year-old boy asking quite such questions? I mean, they might be wondering this thing, but to articulate as Krishna is articulating.
I have a story about a 7-year-old.
Okay.
You want to hear it?
Please.
I was in Ukraine at the Bhakti Sangama festival. Must have been 2016 or 17 or somewhere around there. And I was sitting next to Bhakti Raghava Swami, and it was the last day of the festival, and they were showing, the devotees used to film with a drone, and with several people, they will film during the festival. So at the last day, they did a quick editing, and they show an hour-long video of the festival.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some comments, and they were all in Russian. So every 2 or 3 guests, some devotee will sit behind and translate what was being said. So there was someone talking to Bhakti Raghava Swami and myself, translating the event. And at the end, I turn around to thank him. And then I recognize his name is Vijay Govinda. Is a very smart man from Ukraine. His wife has a PhD. He has 2 PhDs. But the most important thing at that point is that I heard about your son. He has a son named Mara. And when he was 7 years old, he decided to read the entire Bhagavatam. So nobody asked him, nobody forced him. He just thought it was a good time for him to begin reading the Bhagavatam. So he 7. And he said, yes, Madhava is right here. So I asked him, did he speak English? No, but I'll be gladly translate. And I told Maharaj, you should listen to this. So I said, so Madhava, are you done reading? He said, yes. It took me about 1.5 years. And how much do you read? He said, minimum ½ hour a day, sometimes up to 2 hours. And how did you deal with the difficult sections like Sankhya Yoga, the cosmic creation, and the different expansions and all this stuff that we are scratching our heads about? How do you deal with it? He said, well, mostly I understood everything, but if I had any trouble, I would ask an adult to elucidate it for me. And I was shocked. We were both shocked to that a 7-year-old will decide voluntarily to read the Bhagavatam and understand it, that is clearly not an ordinary being. So
no junk in his head.
No, clearly not. I'm sure there may be other disabilities coming with a particular body, but his mind was very, very clear. So yes, a 7-year-old could be a savant.
And when it's Krishna?
Oh yeah, he got it all.
I think I'll share the screen so we can read together. All right, here we go. Krishna's continuing to speak. Etad bruhi. Do you want to read?
No.
Etad bruhi mahankamo mahyang sushushave pita. Nahi gopyang hi sadhuna krityang sarvatmanam iha astyasva paradrishtinam amitro dasta vidvisham. Please tell me about it, O Father. Hold on. Get this up here. Please tell me about it, O Father. I have a great desire to know and am ready to hear in good faith. Certainly, no secrets are to be kept by saintly personalities who see all others as equal to themselves, who have no conception of mine or another's, and who do not consider who is a friend, who is an enemy, and who is neutral. This is also striking to me because first he's asked his father, what's going on here? Why are you doing it? And then he's actually advising his father, but in a friendly and respectful way. But he's saying, don't hesitate to answer my question, because for all the reasons that he gives. First of all, he suggests his father to be a saintly person, sadhuna. And then what is their qualification? They see everyone as equal, sarva atmanam. And ashva paradrishtinam, they do not distinguish between what is their own and what is another's. Asva, sva. Okay, that's so sva means own, and para means another, and drishti means sight, seeing, and then this is a plural genitive. So of one who sees, and I think it's a bahuvrihi compound. So of those who see others and oneself, or those who don't see a difference of others and self. Swaparadrishtinam. So seeing swa and para as the same. So that's the reason he's giving why he should speak. And the last one, amitra udasta vidvisham, who do not distinguish between friends, neutral parties, and enemies. So he's kind of cornering his father. he's saying, you should tell me because you're a saintly person, you're a sadhu, and here's how sadhus see the world. So you should be like that, and excuse me, and therefore you should answer my question. Purport.
Lord Krishna's father might have thought that his son was a mere child and thus could not properly question the validity of a Vedic sacrifice. But the Lord's clever statement here would certainly have convinced Nanda that Sri Krishna was making a serious, not a whimsical inquiry, and that a serious answer should be given. Yes.
Yeah, he's serious. He wants to know. Udasino arivat varja atmavat surit uchate One who is neutral may be avoided like an enemy, but a friend should be considered like one's own self. That's interesting. Udasinavat. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Surin mitra udasina madhyastadvesha bandhushu sadhushvapi chapapeshu samabudhir vishishyate. He includes there the udasina person, the person who's neutral, as one not to be, like here, avoided, but just one should see them all equally, the friend, the foe, the neutral person, the sadhu, the sinner, everyone the same. So that's interesting that here it's different. Even if Nanda Maharaj did not see friends, enemies, and neutral parties as entirely equal, Lord Krishna, being Nanda Maharaj's son, was certainly a most trustworthy friend and should therefore not be left out of intimate discussions. In other words, Nanda Maharaj might have thought that as a householder, he could not act on the highest saintly platform, and thus Lord Krishna furnished additional reasons why his father should trust him and reveal the entire purpose of the sacrifice. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, Nanda Maharaj stood silent, doubting his position of parental aloofness, since Garga Muni had predicted that his son would be, quote, equal to Narayana in his qualities, unquote, and the young boy had already conquered and killed many powerful demons. So I think this last statement, he's pointing out that Nanda Maharaj is kind of pausing and scratching his head, thinking, wait a minute, what was it that Garga Muni told us? He was saying he's equal to Narayan in his qualities. That means he's not ordinary. And here he is asking me this, and he's saying, I am his friend. Am I really his friend? Or should I be bowing down at his feet right now? Because after all, what has he already done? Who has he already, or which demons has he already killed? Let's see if any of you can tell us this without looking. I don't know if this will open up. No, I'd have to close. I don't know how that works. Oh, what happened? Now everyone disappeared. Stop share. Okay. Kishori, Kunda, and all the rest of you there. Do you want to answer our question? Oh, Subal Gopal.
Krishna Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. Krishna
Jale.
Prabhu, my obeisances. When I remember correctly, it was Punah is a little child, and Shakata Sura, and also Trinavata.
Okay, very good. Anyone else? Any other demons? I think those are the only ones mentioned, but isn't it Jiva Goswami who says that Krishna was killing at least one demon every day? That he was in Vrindavan, sometimes one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So we can say the Bhagavatam is just giving a summary. Yeah. Okay. Share screen. All right. So then Okay, Krishna is continuing to speak. He says, Yatva yatma chakarmani janoyam anutishtati vidusha karma siddhi syat yatha na avidusho bhavet. When people in this world perform activities, sometimes they understand what they are doing and sometimes they don't. Those who know what they are doing achieve success in their work, whereas ignorant people do not. Oh, before this, I wanted to say about the previous verse. Maybe I should go back. Yeah, the implication is that Krishna, who is the son, he's in a relation of son to father. His foster father or his actual father, in any case, it's the Vatsalya relationship of father and son. And so someone might object and say, but that's not the relation of friends. Friends are equals. So let's see if anyone can say something to that. Anyone want to argue? Anyone want to defend Krishna's statement in this context? Don't all answer at once. Yes, Daityesha. Oh, you're just, yes, go ahead.
You're muted.
Yeah, that's because he's translating. It's difficult to shift.
Oh, I see. It's translated for Spanish devotees?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. He's saying he didn't have a response. Any comments? Friend, father, child, Vatsalya?
Well, the roles are not fixed. They're not static. The roles change. I remember in my own case, my parents were much older than me. My father was 40 when I was born. And I remember that basically I got a list of things to do and instructions on how to behave and how my life should be and how should I respond to stimuli, and just
here's your task list.
Yes, basically this is how you should live your life according to our instructions. And they were pretty draconian, which in English means kind of strict with a bit of cruelty added to certain rules. So I didn't have much of a reaction. In other words, it was like either you do this or you will be punished. So, and the punishment wasn't like a pillory or one of those stretching machines. It was simply, you go to your room and, don't get out for the rest of the day, or, skip dinner or something like that. And I remember that the options, because of my independent nature, the options were you follow or you're punished. And I will always choose the punishment because
Just take the punishment.
Yeah, forget it. I'm not following. So it got to a point that when I was 17, I decided, okay, I think it's time to respond to all this nonsense that I've been suffering under. So I wrote an essay, I think it was like 3-page essay, describing, first of all, how my parents' life was kind of like a fictitious construct. They were actually, their life wasn't real. They were living on the surface. They were never getting into the depth of things. So, and I didn't want to have part of that. And their marriage was an arrangement of convenience that love may have wore away. And the raising me with a bunch of rules was like bureaucrats managing a corporation. Anyway, I wrote a very complete essay, only one copy, and I sat them in the living room and I read it to them. And I said, now, go ahead and deal with it. Here's a copy. I don't need it. I know what's going on. So from that day, I became the parent because they were shocked by my revelation that I actually could see through the facade of rules and this house of cards construct that they created. So they made me the father of the patriarch.
From one day to the next.
Yes, because they had nothing. They had a house of cards that collapsed. So I didn't want that situation. I was their son, not their parent.
Yeah.
So I left. I actually got my own place, and I just, because I didn't want to. But it is not common, I guess, but it happens that the situation changes, that the father becomes the son becomes the father, and they change in relationships. And I'm sure Nanda Maharaj was suffering a bit of anxiety, thinking, what? Well, this is my son. He's a 7-year-old, but he's also Narayan as well. So how am I going to deal with this? You can't tell Narayan, behave yourself.
When you mentioned the age at which you wrote the essay and presented it to your parents, it reminded me, because you said 17. So there's something in Shastra. We learned this in my second year Sanskrit class, and I don't remember the Subhashita verse, the saying, but it basically says that from the beginning of life through the 5th year, the parents should let the children do whatever. They should just they shouldn't try to control them. They can indulge them. From 5 until 16, they should be disciplined. And from 16 on, they should be friends. So, that's...
I was right on time.
You were on time. Padma Manjari says, Hare Krishna, Krishna is a friend to his father in relation of being an enemy, neutral, or a friend. I guess what you're saying is, if these are the options, being an enemy, being neutral, or being a friend, then of course he's a friend. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's kind of speaking in political terms, I guess. Are you my friend? Are you my enemy? Or are you neutral? So that makes sense. Yes, good point. And Esther says, friendship rasa is included in Vatsalya, as Vatsalya is higher rasa. What Krishna proposes to share with him as to a friend is reasonable. Just my speculation. No, I think it's a nice point.
Yeah.
We'll buy it.
Yeah, I'll take a dozen.
No, that's a nice point. It's mentioned, Krishnadas Kaviraj talks about that in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I believe it's in the discussion between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Rai, that there's a kind of cumulative thing, and there's an analogy made with the elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, that within, let's see, which direction does it go? Within one element are the features of the element prior to it. I guess it starts with ether as the most subtle. Anyway, it depends how you analyze.
Well, because ether, space can contain all the other elements.
Right.
They rest
in, yeah. Yeah, so does that earth, water, so does that mean that earth rests in water? I guess you can say when you have muddy water. Yeah. Jayapataka Swami once said that if you want pure earth, as in earth, water, fire, pure earth, he said, is Ganges mud. That's pure earth. My analytical, mundane mind says, wait, no, that's a mixture of earth and water. No, he said, this is pure earth, primordial earth.
Tilak from Radhakund.
Tilak from Radhakund, which Sarvatma is wearing right now.
Yes.
He is sporting
It's like a
Radhakund.
It's like a tattoo.
Yeah. He's suggesting that I wear Radhakund Tilak in order to confuse all my disciples, and they'll all start speculating. And they'll either report me to the GBC or they'll start imitating me. Am I right? Okay. So Krishna says, Gyatva chakarmani. Didn't we just read this? No, we just read this. Okay, the next one. I think I skipped the purport. Anyway. Tatra bhavat kriya yogo bhavatang kim vicharita ata va laukikas tanme prichata sadhu bhanyatam. Such being the case, this ritualistic endeavor of yours should be clearly explained to me. Is it a ceremony based on scriptural injunction or simply a custom of ordinary society? So, banyatam, that's a form of the verb, which is, it works in this case kind of as an invitation. Let it be explained, something like that. And then vicharita is learned from the scriptures. Atava, or else lokika, of ordinary custom.
From the people.
From the folk.
Yeah.
Das Volk.
Folklore.
Yeah, you could say. Bhaktivinoda Thakur refers to three kinds of festivals. One of them is scriptural, one is just local custom, and the third, I don't remember, I think it's something one does oneself for, maybe for the family. Okay, so he's giving two options. He says it's either scriptural, but actually it's interesting how that's, because vicharita, from vichara, which usually means something like reflecting, thinking, considering, and then it's a past passive participle, which means considered or reflected on. So my guess is this is something explained by one of the acharyas, that means it's coming from scripture.
I wonder if the word vicar comes from that. My speculation.
That's your speculation.
That is.
Okay, so now Nanda Maharaj is going to reply. Nanda Maharaj replied, the great Lord Indra is the controller of the rain, the clouds,